Hi there. Today we're going to discuss Lesson 2, Add Integers, on page 203 of your textbook. What will we learn today? Today we're going to add integers with the same sign, and we're going to add integers with different signs. Vocabulary you need to know for today are opposites and additive inverse. Key concept, add integers with the same sign. To add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. The sum is positive if both integers are positive, and negative if both integers are negative. So if you're adding 7 plus 4, they have the same signs, they're both positive. So you would add the absolute value of 7, which is 7. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So 7 plus 4 is 11. Since they're both positive, the answer is going to be positive. In the same token, if you have negative 7 plus negative 4, you would add their absolute values. So the absolute value of negative 7 is 7. Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. So 7 plus 4 is 11. Altogether, you have 11, but you have 11 negatives. So the answer is going to be negative. Here's your key concept for add integers with different signs. To add integers with different signs, this is a little different. You're going to have to subtract their absolute values. The sum is positive if the positive integer's absolute value is greater, and negative if the negative integer's absolute value is greater. So here's an example, 9 plus negative 4. So you have 9 positives and 4 negatives. And remember, we removed 0 pairs when they had two different signs. So that's why we're subtracting. So you have absolute value of 9 is 9. Absolute value of 4 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. And since you have more positives, your answer is going to be positive 5. Negative 9 plus 4, you have 9 negatives and 4 positives. So the absolute value of negative 9 is 9. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So 9 minus 4 equals 5. And there are more negatives, so the answer would be negative. So let's go ahead and dive into some examples. Find negative 3 plus negative 2. You can use a lot of different models. We did chipboard models, and here we have a number line model. They can either go vertically or horizontally. So here we would start at 0, move down negative 3, or down 3 because that signifies negative 3. And then to go down another 2 for negative 2, and where you end up is negative 5. So again, here you have negative 3 plus negative 2. They're both negatives. So you would add their absolute values. 3 plus 2 is 5. And since they're both negative, the answer is negative 5. Here's number 2. Find negative 26 plus negative 17. Here it's pretty self-explanatory. They have the same sign, so you add them. 26 plus 17 is 43, and since both integers are negative, so the sum is going to be negative. Here's example number 3. Find 5 plus negative 3. Now, again, these have different signs, so we know we're going to have to subtract their absolute values. But let me show you really quick on a number line. We're going to start at 0, head over to 5, move left 3 because of negative 3. We end up with positive 2. So 5 plus negative 3 equals 2. And again, you can subtract their absolute values because one's positive, one's negative. So 5 minus 3 is 2. There's more positives, so the answer is positive. Example 4, find negative 3 plus 2. We're going to use a number line again. Start at 0, move left 3 for negative 3, move right 2 for positive 2, and you end up with negative 1. So negative 3 plus 2 equals negative 1. Again, these have two different signs, so you would subtract their absolute values. 3 minus 2 is 1. You have more negatives, so the answer is going to be negative. Example 5, find 7 plus negative 7. This is really cool because if you'll notice, 7 and negative 7 are opposites, and whenever you add opposites, the answer is going to be 0. Okay, you would subtract the absolute values. 7 minus 7 equals 0. And since you got 0 and they're opposites, the sum of any number and its opposite is always 0. Find negative 8 plus 3. So we have two different signs, so we subtract their absolute values. So 8 minus 3 is 5, and you have more negatives that has more absolute value, so your answer is going to be negative. Here's example number 7. Now, the rules that we've been showing you is for 2 integers at a time. Now, whenever you have 3 integers, you still have to do the same thing. You do 2 integers at the same time. So, first thing we're going to do, what they like to do is they like to use the commutative property of addition to reorder the question here, simply because it'll make it a little bit easier. So what we did was we just switched the numbers around, because it doesn't matter when you're adding it up all together, so that the 2 and the negative 2 are together. And just in like our other example, 2 plus negative 2 is special because they're opposites. So what they did is they just put parentheses around the 2 and the negative 2 because they want you to do that first. And that's going to equal 0 because any number plus its opposite is going to equal 0. So the answer is just negative 15. Pretty simple. All right. Here's our last example. A roller coaster starts at point A. It goes up 20 feet, down 32 feet, and then up 16 feet to point B. Write an addition sentence to find the height at point B in relation to point A. Then find the sum and explain its meaning. So this is like a 3-part question. We have to write a sentence, we have to find the sum, and we have to explain the meaning. So here, 20, positive 20 for 20, plus negative 32 because it was down 32, plus 16 because we want to go up 16. Now here, they reordered the numbers again, and reason being is probably because they wanted to keep the positives together because they're easier to add first. So here, we're going to add our positives together. So 36, 20 plus 16 is 36, plus negative 32. And here you have, that's 4. So you subtracted the absolute values because they were 2 different signs. Now, we found the sentence, we found the sum. Now we have to explain the meaning. Well, if we have a positive 4, we know that point B is 4 feet higher than point A because it's positive. Okay? I hope that video was helpful. Thank you. Bye.